Inspiring moment revealed, millionaire witnesses amazing cleaner teaching his mute son to speak. Morning light streamed through the small kitchen window as Jamal poured cereal into a bowl. The familiar sound of Malik pressing his fingers against the table caught his attention. It was their morning ritual. Jamal focused on his son, whose big eyes sparkled with understanding. Each day was filled with gestures and hopeful signs, as they worked together to bridge the silence that had gripped Malik since birth. This peaceful moment, however, didn't erase the growing weight of financial strain bearing down on the family. Jamal juggled his job as a cleaner in the bustling offices of Chicago with the urgency of teaching Malik basic sign language. Jamal signed, watching as Malik's lips curled into a smile while he mimicked the movement. It was beautiful, yet bittersweet. The hope that one day, his son would speak echoed in Jamal's heart like a distant dream. A sudden rattle jolted the calm. Jamal's wife entered with a shadow of worry on her face. I lost my job," she stammered. The gravity of her words settled in the room like a storm cloud. The once cozy atmosphere turned tense, as stark reality crept in. Bills piled up, casting a long shadow over what they cherished. Jamal's heart raced, tight in his chest, as he tried to reassure her that they would get through this, even as doubt loomed in their small home. Laughter was often replaced by hushed whispers and heavy sighs. Jamal stared out the window at Ethan, their wealthy neighbor, who often looked down upon him, judging as he walked past with a disdainful smirk. To Ethan, hard work was synonymous with prestige, and Jamal's job was nothing but a lowly task. Yet, Jamal carried the spirit of resilience, determined to provide for his family, even as each day chipped away at his pride. The darkest moment arrived when Malik's speech therapy sessions were threatened. Jamal's heart ached at the thought of his son missing out on the one thing that could help him find his voice. He knew how much these sessions meant to Malik, but financial desperation loomed. With a deep breath, he resolved to approach Ethan, asking for help, a decision that felt risky yet necessary. With a heavy heart, Jamal approached Ethan's immaculate front lawn, the plush grass contrasting with the weight in his gut. "Ethan," he began, voice trembling, "I really need your help." Before he could finish, Ethan's dismissiveness cut through the air, chilling Jamal to the bone. The encounter reinforced the divide between them, making Jamal feel like the weight of the world rested solely on his shoulders. One afternoon changed everything. Jamal, with all the patience a father could muster, was teaching Malik new signs in their living room. The softness of his encouragement filled the air. Malik signed Dad with unguarded joy, and it struck Ethan, watching from afar. In that moment, he saw Jamal not just as a cleaner but as a father whose love and determination radiated hope. Ethan's heart shifted, grappling with his preconceived notions. What did it mean to truly value hard work? A silent electricity filled the air as Malik's innocent hope contrasted sharply with their class divide. Jamal stood at a crossroads, pride warring with the need for assistance. They awaited the next steps, teetering on the edge of something transformative. Would Jamal take Ethan's hand, or would he let pride keep him anchored in silence? As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky a soft orange, Jamal sat on the worn couch, his mind racing. The day had felt like a tug-of-war between hope and despair. Malik, blissfully unaware of his father's turmoil, continued to practice his signs, imitating words with an eagerness that moved Jamal profoundly. But the looming question remained: could he swallow his pride enough to reach out to Ethan again? The weight of their dwindling resources pressed heavily on Jamal's chest. Bills were due, and Malik's therapy sessions were an expense they could hardly afford. Each session felt like a countdown to potential communication, a chance for Malik to express himself beyond the silence. What kind of father would he be if he allowed that to slip through their fingers? "Dad," Malik signed again, his face beaming with determination. Jamal couldn't resist smiling back. The innocence and purity of his son's love made everything worthwhile. Yet each smile edged closer to a frown as reality inseparably intertwined with his fatherly pride. Would he finally ask Ethan to help? The next morning, Jamal stood at his front door, heart pounding and breath shaky. The morning dew sparkled on the grass, but in his mind, the atmosphere could not be further from serene. He rehearsed his words, each iteration sounding more pleading than the last. This would be the moment to show Ethan how deeply he cared as a father, to clarify that this wasn't just about money but about the dreams locked within their little family. As he reached the manicured lawn next door, Jamal noticed Ethan in his garage, polishing a shiny car. The sight struck Jamal, piercing his heart with envy and resentment. To some, the car was just a possession, but to Jamal, it symbolized everything he lacked: stability, prosperity, and the luxury of possibilities. "Ethan!" he called, voice strained against his better judgment. Ethan looked up, his expression shifting from annoyance at being interrupted to mild curiosity. "What do you want?" Ethan replied, crossing his arms and leaning against the car. Jamal took a deep breath. "It's about Malik. The speech therapy we need help to keep going." The words tumbled out, almost reckless, but laced with urgency. He swallowed hard, praying for understanding. Ethan paused, studying Jamal's expression. The furnace of pride churned within Jamal as he searched Ethan's gaze, trying to decipher any inkling of empathy. Instead of the expected dismissal, Ethan seemed to look deep into the weight of Jamal's plea. "Why can't you just get another job?" Ethan asked, blunt as ever. Anger surged through Jamal, but deep down, he felt the sting of truth. How could he explain that he was juggling 3 jobs already, that even his determination felt insufficient against the storm raging at their doorstep? "Because I can't," he managed, words heavy with emotion. "But my son, he deserves a voice. I can't give up on him. He needs this." A silence stretched between them, thick with tension. For the first time, Ethan's eyes softened. "I'll think about it," he said, almost hesitantly. What did that even mean? Jamal felt hope flicker like a candle in the wind, but just as quickly, doubt threatened to extinguish it. As he walked home, the sun now blazing overhead, the weight of uncertainty clouded his thoughts. Would Ethan really come through? Inside his house, Malik greeted him with the sign for play. Jamal knelt down, pulling him to his chest. In that embrace, Jamal felt both a swell of love and a suffocating fear for his son's future. They were locked in a struggle for a voice, a struggle against silence. As the days passed, Malik's enthusiasm never waned. And yet, Jamal found himself caught in a whirlwind of anticipation, fear, and a flicker of hope. Would Ethan's change of heart truly lead to something remarkable? And how much longer could they hold out against the rising tide of their struggles? Jamal looked at Malik, eyes shining with determination, and for the first time in days, he wondered if anything could truly shift for the better. What was Ethan thinking? As they worked through new signs, Jamal knew one thing: change was brewing, but at what cost? The next morning, Jamal woke up to the sound of Malik's cheerful chatter, a stream of signs and gestures that filled the small living room. It was a melody of innocence that made Jamal's heart swell. Yet, a cloud of worry lingered over him like a dark shadow. He paced the kitchen, brewing coffee while still grappling with the uncertainty of Ethan's promise. After a hurried breakfast, Malik tugged on Jamal's shirt, his eyes sparkling with expectations. "Play!" he signed again, bouncing on his toes. Jamal couldn't deny him, not when the joy radiating from his son was so contagious. Still, the undercurrents of anxiety rippled through him. They could play, but the reality of their financial struggles loomed in the background, waiting to crash the party. "Okay, buddy. Let us do it," Jamal said, forcing a smile. They spent the morning in the living room, with Malik showing off his latest signs. The term for car, train, even friend, each one was accompanied by Malik's expressive face, filling the room with a kind of light that chased Jamal's worries away, at least for a moment. "Play!" Malik signed again, eyes wide with joy. "All right. How about we play a game?" Jamal suggested, rummaging through their collection of board games. As they settled down and set up the pieces, Malik's chatter echoed brightly off the walls, in a language only a father and son could truly understand. Yet as they played, Jamal's phone buzzed on the counter, pulling him from the moment. It was a text from Ethan. His heart raced as he grabbed the phone, reading the simple message, "Can we talk later? I have an idea." Was this what he hoped for? A glimmer of opportunity? He felt hope surge, flooding his chest like a winter thaw. "Malik, let us take a break," Jamal said, his voice slightly shaky. "Why, Dad?" Malik signed, his brows furrowing in confusion. "I just need to check something," Jamal replied, trying to mask the complex emotions swirling within him. He stepped into the hallway, the world outside their home suddenly feeling more urgent. As he stood at the window, watching the neighbors come and go, Jamal felt raw. What was Ethan going to propose? A loan? A handout? It didn't seem like Ethan's style. Despite their rocky past, this could be a turning point. Or a dead end. Later that afternoon, they ventured outside. Malik took his father's hand, skipping playfully down the sidewalk. The fresh air filled their lungs with a sweetness that made it hard to remember their troubles, but Jamal couldn't shake his restless feelings. When the time came, would he be ready? He had to put aside the fear that had shackled him for so long. Ethan's house stood before them, a fortress of privilege and pretense. The garden was impeccably manicured, and the high fence added distance in more ways than one. Jamal swallowed hard and knocked on the door. Ethan answered, a wary look on his face that quickly shifted to acceptance. "Hey," he said, ushering them in. Jamal's heart raced as he stepped inside. The walls were adorned with accolades and family portraits that screamed happiness, a stark contrast to the chaos swirling in his own life. "Thanks for meeting us." Jamal started, unsure of what words would come next. "I've been thinking about your situation," Ethan said, not quite meeting Jamal's eyes. "I might have an idea that could help." Malik began signing again, excitedly bubbling over with anticipation. Jamal glanced down at his son. The spark of hope renewed. What would Ethan suggest? "Malik, why don't you show Ethan some of your signs?" Jamal encouraged, squeezing his son's shoulder gently. The tension in the air shifted, and for the first time, Jamal felt the weight lift just a fraction. Perhaps this encounter could forge a new path, one that intertwined their stories with a bond rooted in understanding. "Okay," Ethan said, watching Malik closely. "Let us see what you got." As Malik began his signs, a familiar warmth spread through Jamal. There, in that living room, a crucial moment could start a change and maybe, just maybe, open doors that had seemed permanently shut. But what kind of idea did Ethan have in mind? Was it the breakthrough Jamal was hoping for? As Malik signed, Ethan's face transformed from curiosity to genuine admiration. The way Malik expressed his joy, his enthusiasm for sharing his knowledge, made Jamal's heart swell. He watched as Ethan leaned in closer, hanging on every sign like it was the key to a treasure chest of understanding. "Wow, that's incredible," Ethan said, his voice thick with emotion. "I didn't realize how expressive he could be." Jamal felt a warm rush at the compliment. For so long, he had been fighting to show the world that Malik was more than his limitations. "I want to help him, Ethan continued, glancing sideways at Jamal. "There are resources we could talk about." "What kind of help?" Jamal interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "Is it just more money?" The tension in the room flickered. Malik paused mid-sign, sensing the shift but not fully understanding the words exchanged. Jamal could see Ethan's reluctance. The familiar walls crept back up, threatening the moment. "No, it's not just that," Ethan replied, the weariness returning to his voice. "I mean, yes, financial help could be part of it, but I was thinking more about connections. Support systems. Programs I know that can assist him not just financially, but in developing his communication skills further." Jamal felt his breath catch in his throat. Programs? Like what kind? There was skepticism in his tone, the protective barriers he had built around himself flaring up again. "Speech therapy programs, community workshops," Ethan began. "Workshops where he has to struggle and fight for attention just like I did?" I know how that goes. The bitterness seeped into Jamal's words. He felt like he was teetering on the edge of a cliff, uncertainty swirling below him like a tempest. Jamal, hear me out, Ethan said, a hint of urgency in his voice. I know how I come off. But I'm serious about wanting to make a difference. Not just for you, but for him too. We all want the same thing, right? To give him the best chance. Malik looked between them, then signed, help. His innocent eyes were wide, filled with both confusion and curiosity. Jamal's heart broke at the sight. This was not how he wanted his son to witness a conversation about his future. Can we really trust this? Jamal asked softly, turning to Ethan. Can I trust you? You've changed a lot since school. I don't want Malik to get hurt. I get it, Ethan said, voice steady but laced with urgency. I've made mistakes, but I've also grown. I want to use my resources to help. You have to believe that I want to do something that counts. Jamal crossed his arms tightly, wrestling his emotions. Could Ethan be sincere? The past flooded his mind, the envy and resentment that toying with their friendship. As he stared into Ethan's earnest eyes, something inside him began to thaw. It was hard to let go of the spiral of suspicion. He could feel the ground shifting, an unfamiliar hope creeping in. All right, Jamal finally said, his voice shaky yet resolute. Let us talk about this. But if it turns into another empty promise, I won't hesitate to protect my son. Ethan nodded, relief washing over him. I understand. I really do. Malik cheered and signed excitedly, more play, Dad. Jamal chuckled softly, feeling the corner of his mouth lift. In that moment, it hit him, hope didn't mean surrendering to naivety. It was about fighting for something better, for both himself and Malik. As they shifted gear into discussing the specifics, Jamal couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the dawn of something significant. But would it lead to the life-changing support that Malik so dearly needed? Suddenly, the doorbell chimed, breaking their focus. Everyone turned, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Who could it be now? Could this be yet another twist in their evolving story? Jamal held his breath, his heart pounding in his chest. He exchanged a fleeting glance with Ethan, each man's expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Malik, far less concerned with who might be at the door, bounced in place, eager for a visitor, his innocence sparkling in his eyes. The door swung open, revealing a woman with vibrant red hair tied back in a messy bun. She looked like she had just stepped out of a whirlwind. Her clothes were a kaleidoscope of paint stains and cheerful patterns. Sorry I'm late. She exclaimed, a broad smile spreading across her face. Traffic was insane. I promised I'd bring a little fun today. Jesse. Malik signed gleefully, his small hands darting through the air with excitement. It was a name familiar to them both, a friend from the community center who spent countless hours with Malik, guiding him through games and expressive activities. Hey there, superstar. Jesse said, crouching down to Malik's eye level. Ready for some fun? Before Malik could respond, she pulled a bag from her shoulder, producing vibrant puppets, crayons, and books. Jamal felt a weight lift as he watched Ethan's eyebrows raise in surprise. It was a breath of fresh air amidst the tension, an unexpected delight breaking through the serious conversation they were having. Wow, Ethan said, looking to Jamal. This is incredible. Did you set this up? No, this is all Malik, Jamal replied, a smile creeping on his face. Jesse makes learning feel like a game. She sees his potential. Jesse turned her attention exclusively to Malik, their energy a magnetic force pulling Jamal in. Let us start with your favorite, shall we? How about a puppet show? She suggested, her eyes sparkling. Malik clapped his hands and stood up, thrilled by the idea. He reached out towards Jesse, begging for her to hand him a colorful puppet with big googly eyes. The sudden shift of focus made Jamal feel a mixture of relief and gratitude, maybe things would be okay. As the two began to play, Jamal and Ethan settled into the background, their conversation muted by Malik's delighted squeals. But even as Jamal found joy in his son's laughter, a nagging feeling settled deep inside him. "Ethan," he said quietly, "what if this isn't just a normal day? What if we're supposed to be ready for something bigger?" "Bigger? Like what?" Ethan asked, his attention still partially on Malik and Jesse. "I don't know," Jamal admitted, leaning back in his chair, eyes on the scene unfolding before him. "But when it feels like all the pieces are coming together, something big is usually lurking around the corner. It's like the calm before a storm." Ethan stared at Jamal, the hint of worry etched on his face. "You mean another shot at something serious?" "Exactly. I'm trying not to set my hopes too high. But seeing Malik thrive like this, it makes me think that there's more out there. Maybe just beyond this moment." Without breaking eye contact, Jamal could feel a shift in their connection, an unspoken understanding that this was just the beginning. Suddenly, Malik shouted, "Dad!" and pointed towards Jesse, who was generously acting out a scene with the puppets. "Help!" Jamal's heart fluttered once more. They had embarked on a journey where Malik would have the opportunity to communicate, to grow. But was this day going to be just another playdate? Or was it the start of something deeper, a path that might change their lives forever? As the laughter echoed and the warmth enveloped the room, Jamal's apprehensive thoughts loomed. Would the support he needed truly emerge, or was this just a fleeting moment in a long battle? The door creaked open again, and Jamal's breath caught. A man stepped inside, his face partially obscured by a large, worn hat. Who was he? What role would he play in this fragile moment? A new layer of uncertainty swept through the air. What now? Jamal wondered, as the atmosphere shifted once more. Malik's laughter drowned out Jamal's racing thoughts, but the unexpected visitor stood silently in the doorway, a presence both heavy and intriguing. Time seemed to stretch. The man's eyes scanned the room, narrowing slightly as they landed on Malik and Jesse. "Can I help you?" Jamal managed, his voice steady but laced with curiosity. The man tipped his hat back slightly, revealing a lined forehead and weary eyes that held a reservoir of stories untold. "I am Parker." His voice was deep, resonating as though it drew strength from years of hard work. "I heard about the community center and your son." Jamal furrowed his brow. "What do you mean? How did you hear about us?" Parker stepped further into the room, dragging a heavy coat behind him that seemed to echo the weight of the world. "Word travels fast around here. I've seen Malik's progress, and I wanted to understand more. I've been working on a project that might interest you." As Malik continued his puppet show, using his little hands to bring the characters to life, Jamal's attention shifted back and forth between the two. How could a man like Parker, someone who seemed to carry the whole world on his shoulders, be interested in their lives? What project? Jamal felt the familiar swell of hope mixed with skepticism. Parker hesitated for a moment, as if weighing his words. "I run a foundation focused on helping children like Malik. We're looking for ways to create greater support systems, especially for communication and expression. Your son could be a part of something special." Jamal glanced at Ethan, whose expression mirrored his own, surprise blended with uncertainty. "You really think Malik could help others?" Jamal's voice faltered. The idea was exhilarating yet daunting. "Absolutely," Parker said firmly. "Not just help, but inspire. His journey, his joy, it's what we want to showcase. It could change lives." Malik's laughter rang out again, and a genuine smile broke across Jamal's face. What was it about children that made them so incredibly capable of touching hearts? He thought of the countless struggles and the raw determination Malik displayed each day. But is it enough? Is this enough to make a lasting impact? "We're all just figuring it out as we go along," Parker replied, his tone softening. "But think about this, every journey starts with the first step. If Malik could share his story, it might resonate more than you realize." The room felt charged with possibility. Jamal glanced back at Malik, who was fully immersed in his puppet show, unaware of the monumental conversation swirling around him. What would it mean for him? For us? Jamal questioned, the doubt creeping back as he lost the thread of certainty. Opportunities like this don't just come around often. It could help him connect with others like him, build a community, Parker said, enthusiasm seeping through his serious demeanor. Imagine how many people could understand and learn from him, just from sharing his experiences. The weight of the decision settled on Jamal's chest. It felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, staring into the unknown. Was he ready to embrace this? Would Malik thrive in the spotlight? In the midst of his thoughts, Malik shouted, "Dad! Look!" He held a puppet high, mirroring an exaggerated smile. The innocence of his joy broke through Jamal's uncertainty. Parker watched the scene, a knowing look in his eyes. "What do you think? Are you ready to take that step?" Jamal took a breath, feeling the warmth of the moment cradle him even as fear lurked at the edges. The door creaked again, and Jamal's heart skipped. This time, it wasn't just Parker. Another figure appeared, a woman holding a camera, brimming with energy and eagerness. "Who's ready for a photo shoot?" she announced brightly, cutting through the tension. Jamal felt his heart race anew as he exchanged glances with Ethan, both wondering what this day had really become. What were they setting in motion? And could they truly bear the weight of such expectations? The camera clicked continuously as the woman smiled brightly. "We're capturing this moment. It's all about showing the world what Malik can do." Her enthusiasm bubbled over like a fountain, contrasting sharply with Jamal's swirling doubts. Malik's laughter filled the spaces in the room, his innocence a radiant pillar of light among all the uncertainty. He held up his puppet, a colorful dragon with a goofy grin, and danced it in front of the camera. It was like nothing else mattered to him, the joy of play was all-consuming. Jamal stood frozen, the sound of the camera shutter clicking like a lightning bolt between his thoughts. What was happening? The idea of sharing Malik's journey, showcasing his challenges and victories, was both thrilling and terrifying. They'd never been thrust into the spotlight like this. Could they handle it? Parker stepped forward, clearly sensing Jamal's apprehension. "This is a beautiful opportunity, Jamal. Not just for Malik, but for families everywhere who are also on this journey. Everyone can gain something from his story." Ethan lowered his voice, nudging Jamal gently. "Dad, maybe it could be amazing. Look how happy Malik is." His eyes sparkled with a hopeful expectation, igniting something inside Jamal. "What if the world sees him differently?" Jamal said, trembling at the thought. "What if they don't understand?" "It starts with love," Parker reminded him, his voice steady and calming. "You're showing them Malik's light. Help them see what you see." Jamal felt the room closing in as he wrestled with his fears and the potential that danced in front of him. Malik continued to bring life to his puppets, wildly animated as he jumped from one character to another, completely unaware of the significance of the moment. Could he really share this beautiful innocence with the world? "Okay," Jamal replied slowly, his heart racing as he took the plunge. "Let us do it. But only if Malik is comfortable." The photographer beamed, adjusting the focus on her camera before kneeling to Malik's level. "How about a big smile, Mr. Superstar?" She cheered, making silly faces to draw out more laughter from Malik. Malik giggled, the sound sweet and genuine, and for a split second, the room felt like a bubble of pure happiness. Jamal couldn't help but smile wider. Maybe this was their first step, after all. Yet, as he accepted the risk, doubt gnawed at him. Would the world embrace Malik's light, or would it cast shadows on their already challenging path? As the camera clicked away, Jamal caught Parker's eye. There was a glimmer of understanding there, as if both men were connected by the same thread of hope and fear interwoven. "Be prepared, Jamal," Parker murmured. "With exposure comes scrutiny. You'll need to protect that joy." The weight of those words pressed down on Jamal. Malik was more than a story, he was a heart, a gentle spirit with a unique view of the world. What happens if they can't see him the way we do? Jamal felt the anxiety twist inside him, imagining negative reactions from strangers. Parker lowered his voice, steady and firm. You take it one day at a time. You focus on the love and the community. Those who matter will see him. And there it was, the flicker of hope that began to grow in Jamal's heart. But as Malik took center stage, joy radiating like sunlight, a distant part of him feared the storm that might follow. Suddenly, the loud ring of Jamal's phone broke the moment. He fished it out of his pocket, seeing an unknown number flashing on the screen. Heart racing, he hesitated before answering. Hello. His voice held a tremor, uncertainty creeping back. Is this Jamal? I have something important to convey about your son. Please listen. The voice on the other end was serious, almost urgent. Jamal's heart stopped, a chill coursing through him. What now? What else was on the horizon, darker than he could have ever imagined? Jamal's breath caught in his throat, the world around him fading into a muted background. A million thoughts raced through his mind. Was this a prank? Surely, no one would call with news about Malik and take it this seriously unless something was terribly wrong. He leaned against the wall, the coolness grounding him. What do you mean? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. There's an opportunity for Malik, the voice continued, still measured but full of urgency. He has a rare talent, and people like us want to see him shine. We believe he can make a significant impact. Impact? Jamal echoed, confusion washing over him. What exactly are you saying? Your son has a unique way of communicating, Jamal. It's more than just the puppets. We want to showcase that. There's a platform, a chance for him to lead a program about expression, inclusion. It could inspire so many families. Every word felt heavy, each one striking at Jamal's heart. He pictured Malik, his son, so full of life and creativity on stage, sharing his truth with the world. Yet, as excitement bubbled up, fear clawed at his insides. What kind of exposure are we talking about? He pressed. I can't put him in a position where he might get hurt. There was a moment of silence on the line. We understand your concerns, and we respect them. This would not be about sensationalism. It would be about illustrating diversity and showing the beauty in every voice, even those that don't speak in traditional ways. Jamal could almost hear the click of the camera shutter echoing in his mind again, and his heart ached for Malik. How would I know this isn't just another project that will pass by? Then come meet us. Bring Malik, let him see what this is about. If it doesn't feel right, you walk away. No strings attached. The offer lingered in the air, tantalizing yet terrifying. Jamal glanced back at Malik, who was now confidently switching personas, his imagination leading the way, completely oblivious to the whirlwind of emotions inside his father's head. For Malik, the world was a playground, and each puppet was a doorway opening to unlimited adventures. Okay, yeah, I'll consider it, Jamal said, half-hearted but needing to be strong for Malik. But he needs to be comfortable with this. I won't push him into something he doesn't want. I respect that completely, Jamal. Just give us a chance to show you what we have in mind. I promise you won't regret it. As the call ended, Jamal felt spun in a whirlwind of possibilities. Was this the breakthrough they had been waiting for? Or was it another pursuit that could end in disappointment? Parker and Ethan would want to know, but more than that, he needed to think about Malik, about their family, about everything the world might see. Dad! Look! Malik's excited voice broke through his reverie. Can we do the dragon dance again? It was so funny. His eyes sparkled with genuine joy, spiraling out of Jamal's dark thoughts. Jamal smiled, letting the weight of the phone call slip momentarily. Sure, buddy. He looked at Malik, a fire igniting within him. Then came a knock at the door, sharp and sudden. Jamal turned, heart racing. Who's knocking at a time like this? He wondered, instinctively protective. Malik flapped the puppet's wings, unabated. Maybe it's a dragon. But as Jamal walked cautiously to the door, he felt the air shift, the tension returning. "You've got this," he whispered to himself. Opening the door, he was greeted not just by another face but by a stranger that somehow felt all too familiar. "Jamal, I need to talk about Malik," the man said, urgency in his eyes. A chill seeped back into the warmth of the room, and uncertainty churned again in Jamal's gut. What revelation awaited him? Jamal's instincts screamed for caution as he exchanged uncertain glances with the stranger. The man was well-dressed, his polished shoes contrasting with the worn welcome mat beneath them. "Who are you?" Jamal demanded, stepping slightly in front of Malik, who still held the puppet, unaware of the weight of the moment. "Victor Hayes," the man replied, exuding a charisma that felt almost too deliberate. "I work with organizations that focus on showcasing talents like Malik's. We need to talk now." "Showcasing talents?" Jamal's voice rose, fretting anger through concern. "What does that mean for Malik? Is this just another way to exploit him?" "Not at all," Victor said quickly, though the urgency remained in his tone. "I know how it sounds. I'm here because I see great potential in him, an opportunity to reach millions." Malik waved his puppet, interrupting, "I like dragons. Can they fly fast?" The innocence of his question tugged at Jamal's heart, flooding his chest with protective warmth. "Let him be," Jamal muttered, trying to drown out Victor's words before they could settle. "You don't get to barge in here and talk about opportunities without understanding what Malik really needs." Victor took a step closer, his expression softening. "I can help him find his voice in the world. A broader audience that would celebrate what makes him unique. What if he had a community that embraced him instead of judged him?" Jamal felt a tug of desire to believe him. He thought of the struggles he and Malik faced every day. The sideways glances. The whispered words when Malik attempted to express himself. "A platform?" Jamal echoed thoughtfully. "What would it take?" "No pressure," Victor said. "Just a conversation. Malik can come and see for himself what we can offer. No obligations. Just a chance for him to express who he really is." Malik tugged at his father's shirt, his eyes shining. "Can I go, Dad? Please. What about the work we do at home?" Jamal felt that familiar knot in his stomach. "This isn't just playtime, Malik. It could be life-changing, or it could be dangerous. Think of the kids he could inspire," Victor chimed in, his voice smooth as silk. "He could show others how creativity can turn silence into something beautiful." Jamal's fists clenched at his sides. He wanted Malik to have every chance, but wasn't he that always laced with risk? He finally had to face the truth. Deep down, a part of him yearned for this, a chance for Malik to shine. But was it worth the risk of being hurt again? "What are you afraid of?" Victor asked, catching Jamal off guard. "Afraid to let him try? Afraid of what he might say or what you might lose?" The words hit him with a sharp clarity. Jamal sighed, heart heavy with conflict. "It's not that simple. It's never that simple." "I know, but sometimes the leap of faith opens new doors," Victor urged, his voice almost a whisper now. "Let Malik take the first step. You might find it's the moment you both have been waiting for." Malik watched with wide eyes, the puppet hanging loosely in his hand, as he searched for an answer on his father's face. Jamal looked down, the weight of his fears battling against a flicker of hope igniting within him. Finally, he nodded slowly, uncertain, yet optimistic. "Let's just talk then. But I'm staying right by his side. We'll set it up. You'll have all the information you need," Victor replied, relief flooding his expression, but as Jamal closed the door and faced Malik, a new unease settled over him. Would this opportunity be the start of something incredible or the beginning of the end of his son's childhood? "Malik, do you really want to do this?" he asked, searching for assurance in his son's joyful eyes. Yeah, Dad. I want to show everyone how cool dragons can be. Malik exclaimed, that infectious smile returning as color filled the room. With Malik's excitement pulsing like a heartbeat, Jamal knew they stood at a crossroads. Just then, unexpected footsteps echoed down the hallway. The sounds felt ominous. Maybe I shouldn't have opened that door, Jamal thought, anxiety rising as he wondered what else was about to unfold. What more was waiting, just beyond their walls, beyond their comfort? Would hope lead them forward, or would fear call them back? Jamal stared into Malik's bright, shining eyes, realizing that he was not just his son's protector, he was also the key to Malik's future. The unthinkable had transformed into an overwhelming opportunity, and somewhere between fear and hope lay a path they had yet to tread. Okay, Malik, Jamal said, his voice breaking slightly. If you want to share your world with others, then let's do it. But we do this together. Malik's face positively lit up, a radiant smile stretching across his features as he jumped in place, eagerness spilling over in a flurry of signs and laughter. Meanwhile, the knock on the door from earlier lingered in Jamal's mind. The world outside felt vast and intimidating, but it was also brimming with possibilities. Just then, Parker and Ethan entered, both curious about the excitement that had erupted in the room. What happened? Parker inquired, noting Malik's enthusiasm. An opportunity has come up for Malik, Jamal explained cautiously, sensing the collective anticipation. Yeah. I want to be a dragon star. Malik shouted, casting an imaginary net of excitement. Dragon star. Ethan echoed, unable to suppress a grin. Sounds epic. Jesse, who had been quietly observing, chimed in, I knew he'd find his moment to shine. It was just a matter of time. Malik's innocent laughter was the sound of necessity, a warmth that wrapped around Jamal's heart like a hug. I just worry about the pressure, Jamal admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. The weight of responsibility loomed larger than ever. Pressure is part of growth, Parker remarked, his tone encouraging. But you'll help guide him, Jamal. You're the heart of this journey. Jamal felt the knot in his chest loosen slightly. The incessant worry that had haunted him over the past few days began to dissolve as he watched Malik breathe life into their hopes. And so, a plan was set in motion. Jamal would hand-pick the opportunities spanning from Malik's performances, ensuring every step was grounded in joy, not just the bright lights and accolades. The sessions would remain personal and rooted in love, surrounding Malik with people who genuinely saw him. Days turned to weeks, and with Malik at the center, curious faces surrounded them, each revealing stories that echoed the same desires: a chance to be heard, to be understood. At every event, Jamal maintained a protective stance, feeding Malik's spark with encouragement while shooing away the fears that clouded his thoughts. The connections bloomed, families coming together as Malik delicately shared not only puppets but pieces of himself. Park's foundation shined the spotlight brightly, bridging understanding with the communities. Malik smiled and waved at all the new faces, drawing even more cheers. Go Malik! The crowd roared one day as he performed, the applause reverberating through Jamal's heart like a sonorous bell. At that moment, Jamal felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. Sure, the journey had its hurdles and complications, but it was reassuring to see Malik embrace his voice. Together, Jamal whispered, almost to himself. Malik's laughter soared over the applause, a sound as sweet as music. As the season wore on, Ethan approached Jamal one day after a particularly electrifying performance. You know, I've never seen anyone use their silence so powerfully, he said, the sincerity in his voice palpable. You've changed how I see things. Thank you, Jamal replied, a broad smile lighting up his features. This marked the beginning of healing not just for Malik, but also for Jamal and Ethan. With every new accomplishment Malik achieved, the walls that had once divided Jamal and Ethan cracked slightly, each interaction leading to deeper understanding and a renewed sense of respect. Months later, as the summer sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Malik requested a ritual of family gathering. Surrounded by laughter and love, he signed thank you to everyone around him, his tiny hands moving gracefully in gratitude. Jamal's heart swelled with pride. He hugged Malik tightly, inhaling the scent of his son's hair, cherishing every beat of their shared lives. "Dad, I can speak now, huh?" Malik beamed, his innocence illuminating their journey. "Yes, buddy. You've always spoken, you just found your way," Jamal replied, a deep warmth spreading through him. As he looked at the friends gathered in that moment, the weight of despair lifted. There were no more shadows cast across their lives, only the bright glow of what lay ahead. No longer just a cleaner in a city of glitz, Jamal had transformed into a father figure of strength and resilience, equipped to champion his son. "Let us keep showing the world the magic in your voice, Malik," Jamal said, joy bursting from him. "Yes, Dad." Malik's grin enveloped the room, promising endless adventures. In the glow of unity and hope, Jamal realized there would always be storms, but together they could navigate any uncertainty that loomed. The bond they built, rooted in love, confidence, and resilience, was something remarkable, and in that moment, he knew, against all odds, they had turned the silence into a beautiful symphony of love. Now, it's your moment. You need to subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support our journey. Give us your most heartfelt comment about your reactions and feelings regarding this inspiring ending. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. True fans understand the importance of supporting our channel through these actions. Let's grow together.